Close-up look at the best basketball players in the world.
All of this started in '92 with that dream team.
It taught the world what it could be like.
Now, that fear factor isn't there anymore.
The Paris Olympics 2024.
Throw all the NBA stuff out the window.
Got to be on edge and ready.
The new Netflix docu-series Court of Gold takes you behind the scenes with the top players in men's basketball as they battle for gold in the 2024 Olympic Games.
Yeah, joining us now is the series director, Jake Rogow. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. Psyched to be here with you.
Yeah, you know, the first thought that came to my head when I saw the trailer for this and the access you got, I was thinking back to that '92 Dream Team and how you could have never made something like this in 1992, being what was going on behind the scenes there and how competitive things were, but just the access that guys today give you now, it's so much different than it used to be, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. I think the guys are more used to having cameras around, and also social media and just public exposure in general is much more prevalent. So I think us being there wasn't out of the ordinary because it's what they're used to during the NBA seasons. Sometimes they'll shoot their training camps. So cameras are kind of a part of these guys' lives nowadays, and it's just, something they're used to at this point.
I've watched a little bit of this, and I don't remember all of it in real time, but can you explain to people? I don't understand how any American team is not beating these guys by 40 points. I know the international game has gotten a lot better, but still, they're not in the NBA for a reason.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think what we're slowly realizing is that a lot of these teams have NBA players littered throughout. There's amazing youth programs in place in some of these countries to train their basketball players, and these guys now are growing up watching American basketball. They're exposed to the NBA. They know what it takes. So as the world becomes more connected through everything, basketball is part of that. And so these countries are now starting to catch up to the U.S. and it's a single elimination tournament at a certain point in the Olympics. So one bad game and the U.S. can lose. It's the most competitive environment thus far in the history of basketball, and it's only going to continue that way, I think.
Yeah, it's wild to me, too, how invested NBA players still are in something like this and how much it means to them. The one guy that surprised me was the interview with Durant that kind of went viral. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise being on the inside was how much these guys cared. Of course, you understand that basketball is their life, but I didn't realize to the extent. And Kevin is the ultimate basketball player. Basketball is the single most important thing in his life, and he's always looking for the best pickup game, honestly. And the best game at the moment over the summer was the Olympic tournament, so that's why he was playing. He just wants to play the best basketball at all times, and he's just sort of seeking that out at all costs. But all of these guys, I mean, they care very deeply. They're there on their own time, not getting paid after playing a full season. LeBron in his 40s still playing. It just shows you the dedication and how much these guys cares about the game.
Do they have a discussion about chemistry? Is that something that they try to manufacture? Because obviously these are not guys who play together as a team.
Yeah, it's a great question. Some of the guys have natural chemistry on the court, like Steph and KD, who have played together. But just because LeBron and Steph or KD and LeBron haven't played together doesn't mean they don't have chemistry. They have tremendous chemistry, and it might take a while to know who's cutting where or who's taking what shot. But the personality chemistry exists because they've all been the face of the league for the last 10, 15 years. So the chemistry is actually closer than people think when they start in training camp.
With so many alphas on this team, I wonder who the guy is in the locker room where if it's a big game or if they're down at halftime I got to imagine LeBron is one of those guys. Maybe it's not, but who's the guy who's the most vocal in there?
I don't think there's one guy. I think they're all alphas in their own sense, and they all have their moments. Steph had his moment at the end of the gold medal game. LeBron had a ton of moments throughout the Olympics. He was the MVP. KD had his moment in the first Serbia game. So I think, Steve Kerr was the guy who was able to get all of those alpha personalities on the same page. But I think they all have moments of being the leader, and they're all respectful of what each other has done to give each other those moments.
Did you get a lot more access because of or in spite of The Last Dance, which is just, I could not stop watching that, even if you're not a Jordan fan of the Bulls from that era. What's that been like? What's the reaction from the players to that?
So I appreciate that. And The Last Dance, as far as getting access goes, it wasn't necessarily a factor in all of this because it happened a while ago and you want to let the players have a new experience on their own. But I definitely would try to mention it to people just to let them know that with people like Michael, and because Michael is so highly regarded, that usually gets people's attention.
Huh.
Well, Court of Gold is streaming on Netflix. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a great Monday.